The woman was just about to drink the bird's nest soup her children had prepared for her when her paralyzed mother-in-law suddenly knocked the bowl to the ground. She told her that the soup had been poisoned. Watching the whole family fuss over her burned hand, the woman suddenly realized she seemed to be the only one who could hear her mother-in-law's thoughts, but she refused to believe it. How could the family she lived with day and night possibly want her dead? She assumed her elderly mother-in-law was simply overthinking. Unexpectedly, a passing rat only took one bite of the spilled soup and instantly flipped over and died on the spot. Only then did the woman realize her mother-in-law's thoughts were telling the truth. Even so, she didn't expose anyone. Later, she pushed her mother-in-law as usual to the market 5 kilometers away to save just 50 cents. She had been coming to this market for 3 straight years. While picking vegetables, her mother-in-law's thoughts echoed again, saying her husband made her save even 50 cents on groceries, yet his broken fishing rod cost $20,000. That was when she finally understood the so-called frugality he always talked about had only ever applied to her. Her heart turned ice cold, but she still quietly returned home and prepared a full meal for the family. Unexpectedly, her husband's so-called god-sister came over to celebrate the new year and openly acted intimate with him right in front of her. She swallowed her bitterness, thinking there was only one day left. If she endured a little longer, she would finally be free at the dinner table. The manipulative woman noticed garlic pieces hidden in the fish and immediately accused her of trying to embarrass her. After saying that, she stood up, pretending to leave in grievance without hesitation. Her husband ordered his wife to pick all the garlic out of the dish. The woman lowered her head, numbly picking up a spoon. The old injury in her lower back throbbed faintly, but everyone at the table only cared about toasting and celebrating. No one even glanced at her husband, and the other woman continued flirting openly. At that moment, years of suppressed grievance and anger finally exploded. She turned and prepared to leave, although the whole family couldn't wait to drive her out. For the sake of a massive insurance payout, they had to coax her and urged her to sit down for the reunion dinner. But all that remained on the table were leftovers and scraps. She finally understood. They had never had her in their hearts. After dinner, while washing her daughter-in-law's dirty clothes, her mother-in-law's thoughts echoed again, standing up for her, revealing that her husband was having an affair. Hearing this, she rushed into the bedroom, only to catch the two of them in the act, yet instead of guilt, her husband blamed her for not knocking and mocked her as a washed-up housewife compared to her. The other woman was a big player in the stock market. Angry that she interrupted him, he slapped her across the face. When the others rushed in, instead of defending her, they accused her of being paranoid. She cried alone in her room. The only one who understood her suffering was her mother-in-law. She urged her to leave immediately, saying if she didn't go now, it would be too late, and that the truth was inside the cabinet. The woman found the documents in the cabinet and discovered her husband had taken out a huge accidental death insurance policy on her. At that moment, she finally understood why they wanted her to drink poisoned bird's nest soup the next day. Her husband received notice of a major investment from a corporate group, proudly telling her to open a bottle of red wine to celebrate. Watching him and the other woman act intimately without shame, she could no longer endure it. She smashed the wine bottle to the ground and walked out of the house that had brought her nothing but humiliation and pain. But the moment she stepped outside, the harsh reality hit her. She had nowhere to go, no one to rely on. In the freezing wind, she felt true helplessness for the first time. Just then, the CEO of the group personally came to see her. 20 years ago, he had been a poor child making a living sewing buttons for others. Seeing him on the street, she had pretended her button was missing and asked him to replace one, then handed him $50, telling him to keep the change and consider it an investment in his small business. Now, that child had grown into the CEO of a conglomerate worth hundreds of billions. All these years, he had never forgotten her kindness and decided to gift her 50% of the company's original shares. Overnight, she became the largest shareholder of the group. At that moment, her son called, asking her to come back and take care of her grandson. She didn't want to go back, but her heart was too soft. So she returned home, only to accidentally overhear a chilling secret. The biological child she had given birth 2 years ago had been abandoned in the countryside by her husband, and the son she had called her own for over 20 years was actually the illegitimate child of her husband and the other woman. Even the baby grandson was the bloodline of her enemies. Anger drained every last tear from her, leaving behind nothing but icy clarity. The next day, she shed the heaviness and weariness of a housewife and appeared at the celebration banquet in a sharp, elegant business suit. Her husband had no idea who she really was and openly mocked her at the event, laughing that a housewife who couldn't even balance the books had no business showing up at such a place. She pulled out the divorce papers on the spot and slammed them in front of him, then poured red wine all over his head. The manipulative woman called her crazy and hurriedly dragged him away to change clothes. But the moment they were alone, they couldn't wait to get intimate again. Little did they know, she had already anticipated this and secretly informed the CEO to set a trap, waiting for the perfect moment to humiliate them publicly. Back in the hall, the grandson cried non-stop. Her son urged her to comfort the baby, but instead of holding him, she publicly declared she was cutting all ties with them. The guests were stunned and began accusing her of not appreciating her blessings. Saying she didn't know how to cherish such a good husband, she calmly replied that they were welcome to take this good husband for themselves. Then she clapped her hands, and in the next second, a shocking scene exploded before everyone's eyes.